What's good, y'all? It's your boy Wavy Just, and this is my new channel, Wavy Wingers, where I'm going to be talking football. Everything football is going on this channel, from FC, EAFC to football takes to match previews and match predictions and match analysis post. I'm gonna be moving like a pundit, even though I stopped playing football in 8th grade when I got kicked off the team. But look, y'all. To start the channel, I just want to kind of break down, what my affiliations are to the sport. So Neymar's my GOAT, of course, lifelong Barca fan from about like 2014. I started watching because of, obviously the GOAT, Neymar. And then Neymar went to PSG, and I kind of stopped playing the sport. I got kicked off the soccer team because we got smacked like 13-0. It was a co-ed soccer team, and the coach just, she just had it out with me that day. She started shedding tears. She kicked me off the team because I asked her why she put a girl in goal, because she had nails on with the goalkeeper gloves, and the ball was going through her hands and all types of shit. It was not a good experience, but I got kicked off the team. Ever since then, everyone says, like, you have that one coach that makes you fall out of love with your sport. That was my coach. You feel me? There was a different teacher with the same name as her that got killed in a car accident. I thought it was her. I was about to smoke a blunt for the first time. That's how serious it was. I really did not like that lady. I think she's still alive though. So you feel me if you're watching this. But anyways, yeah. So then from there, I kind of stopped watching the sport. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know how to watch football. I live in America. Football doesn't come on the TV, so I would only watch the Champions League when we had cable, and then we stopped having cable. So I didn't even really know like nothing about. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know nothing about La Liga. I didn't know nothing about I watched the treble win, and I watched the remontada. That's the only match I really remember vividly watching live in action, was the remontada, which is great for me. You know what I mean? But either than that, I didn't really watch too much. I was more like a YouTube highlights kind of guy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm an honest man. You know what I'm saying? I can only lie when it comes to snitching. I was watching YouTube highlights. That's how I got my football, content. But once Neymar went to PSG for that record-breaking fee, I kind of just stopped watching, but I just supported PSG in the background. And then, I was kind of just in and out of watching it for a few years. And then the World Cup came around. And I think I started watching like a little bit into the World Cup, probably like in like the knockout stage or something. I was rooting for Messi, or I was rooting for Brazil, I'll be honest. I was rooting for Brazil at first, but then they lost to, what was it, Croatia, I believe. I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I cried with Neymar. I did cry with Neymar that day. I'm gonna be honest. I really did. I cried with Neymar because the way he scored that goal, and just for them to lose in that way, it really hurt my heart. I cried with Neymar. But then I was like, yo, Messi's the GOAT. Messi needs to get this, this World Cup win on his thing, so he could just be levels above Ronaldo. I'm gonna be honest, because everybody knows Messi's the GOAT, but it's like they both don't have a World Cup. But once Messi got his World Cup, it was kind of obvious. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, once that happened, I rooted for Messi. If the comms ever got leaked, like the Discord call screen share, if it ever got leaked, the words I was calling those French players, I would literally be probably dangling from a tree. So it was really a passion watch. I was really rooting for Messi. You would have thought I was really like Argentinian, and I really wanted to see the black people get erased like they did. Like, you feel me? Like, it was crazy. But I rooted for Messi. Shout out to Messi. Kylian Mbappe scared the shit out of me. I went through a roller coaster of emotions watching that match. But at the end of the day, hey, my nigga Leo, you know what I'm saying? Shout out my boy Leo. So after that, started watching. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of a treat for the first few years. I'm gonna be honest. Ever since 2022, I watched that. Who won the Champions League after the World Cup? So I think Madrid had won that year, and then the following year, I rooted for Man City when they got Haaland. And I rooted for Man City in the league and in the, I'm when it comes to sports, I'm a player person, you know what I mean? So like in the NBA, I like Kevin Durant, so I root for whatever team Kevin Durant's on, and I like Anthony Edwards right now. So I'm probably gonna be rooting for Anthony Edwards. He's actually in the playoffs and shit. And once KD's gone, Anthony Edwards is gonna be my favorite player. In the NFL, I was a Tom Brady fan. I wasn't really a real Patriots fan. I realized that once Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, I started rooting for the Buccaneers. Feel me? It was a great time in my life because I watched the remontada right after watching Tom Brady come back against the Falcons, and Tom Brady actually posted like a joint Instagram post with the Barcelona team, and that was kind of how, like, you feel me? I was just like, damn, bro, it's a great time to be alive. And also, I was rooted for the Warriors, but they did lose that year. I think that was 2016. I don't remember, but yeah, I really don't have no affiliations to teams besides Barcelona. I've just always been a Barcelona fan. I will be honest, I was rooted for PSG, like I said, when they had Neymar, but once Neymar left PSG, it's like, okay, I can root for Barcelona again. Barcelona is actually an exciting team because once Messi left, the excitement out of the team was kind of gone. The only players that I knew when I started watching football again was Frankie de Jong, I didn't know nothing about the Gavis, the Pedris, you know, because I wasn't really watching those years. I didn't really know. I wasn't too familiar. Obviously, you know, Mats and shit, but you know, Marc Andre. But yeah. So after that, I rooted for Man City. Then the next year, I rooted for Real Madrid to win the Champions League because I like Jude. You know, I rooted for City because I like Holland. It's just, you know, I don't really have no affiliations, but Barcelona is, you know, they have my heart. You know, I can't root for Real Madrid ever again just because I love this Barcelona squad. This is my favorite Barcelona squad of all time, believe it or not. Like, and I watched 2015 Barcelona. You know what I mean? I watched Prime MSN. You know, but it's just like this squad is just, it's just something different. They give me a different feel. Like I just care for these guys. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on a team. Like I knew this one guy that he would always react to like football games and shit, and he'll be like, "We need this player, we need this type of person, we need this." It's like, bro, you're not on the team. But I feel like I'm on the team when it comes to this Barcelona side. Like I really feel like I'm on the team with them. I feel like I'm out there. I'm screaming. I'm celebrating goals. I haven't screamed like this since I was watching the Patriots and Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like I really get excited for this. So yeah, you know, I'm fully Barcelona. Always have my heart. Always will have my heart. Forever. So you know, now we root for Barcelona to win everything. You know, right now Barcelona is in contention to win the treble. We beat Madrid. See, I'm saying we now. I feel like I'm on the team. We beat Madrid in the Supercopa in the beginning. You know, that doesn't really count. We beat them in the league. Now we play in the final against them today. Literally today. I'm literally recording this video at 5 a.m. the night before the final. So yeah. Or the day of the final, pretty much. The morning of the final, should I say. So yeah, we played them in the Copa del Rey today, Madrid. You know, we got their number. We beat them the last 3 matches we played against them in the preseason and in the league and in the Supercopa. So I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. We're in the semis of the Champions League. You know, Barcelona in the semis of the Champions League. Damn, it's been a while. You know what I mean? Shout out to, you feel me, the guys for really putting on. We're playing Inter in the semis. Inter has dropped points in their last 2 games. Or not dropped points, but they've lost their last 2 games. They dropped points in the league to Bologna. They lost that game. They're tied with Napoli for first in the Serie A. And their treble hopes are gone because they lost to AC Milan, I think, for the 5th time. This is what I heard. They lost to them 5 times recently in the, I think it's Coppa d'Italia semis. So, yeah, that's rough, buddy. So you know they're in bad form. They have some injuries. You know, never want to wish injuries on them. But I mean, shit, I can't help but notice Marcus Thuram is not playing. Shout out to Marcus Thuram though. 'Cause I fuck with him. You feel me? I fuck with you, bro. But you know, I got it. You know what I mean? So you know, I think we'll have a good chance against them because we are facing some injuries as well. You know, we just lost Lewandowski for probably the entire semifinals. We're trying to get Balde back for the semifinals. You know, we have Gerard Martin. You know, the fans aren't too fond of Gerard Martin, and I'll be honest, neither am I. But you know, I don't believe in hating on players. You know, these are professionals. You know, it's hard to acclimate to a team this quickly. You know, when you weren't getting any playing time because you were playing the position of Balde. Balde is arguably the best left back in the league in the world. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard for you to try to fill those shoes. And you never will because Balde is just a different player. He could cover the entire left side on his own and it allows for Rafinha to just, you know, really get in there and get crazy. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. So, yeah, we also are missing, well, Balde, like I said. So, we're trying to get Balde back. And either than that, you know, I think we'll be all right. You know, our squad has good depth. You know, Gerard Martin isn't the worst. We have Hector Fort that played left back in the one game. We have Ansu Fati on the bench. You know, we have Ferran Torres playing up front, who's, you know, he's actually doing decent. People used to hate on Ferran Torres, apparently. I wasn't really around for those times. But, you know, I like Ferran Torres in FC. You know, last year I used his FIFA card, FC24, his what was it, Euro Path to Glory card, and I liked it. You know what I mean? So I fought with my boy Ferran. But we're going to see what happens. I'm going to do another video after this, doing a match preview for the Copa del Rey. And yeah, this is just kind of intro video so y'all can know like my affiliations with the sport and shit. Neymar, my favorite player of all time. I can't wait for the World Cup to come in 2026. I will be there. We will be there. And you know, I'm trying to go as many games as possible. Try to, you know, get some of that content in. Yeah, other players I like is in my banner, my cheap ass banner that I made. Because you know I don't really have effort for this shit. But you know I like Hazard. You know, shout out to Hazard. I like dribblers, you know, Messi, you know, Yamal right now is probably one of my favorite players. My favorite player right now is Pedri, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, I'm all for, you know, like, I like those players that's like the stats don't show everything, you know. Pedri, I think he has like, I don't even know how many assists so far. Like, it's really not that many, but the created chances he has is like insane. Like he's really just a maestro, you know. I like to call him Pedriesta or Pedrino. You know, that's my personal nickname for him. You know, everyone compares him to Iniesta. You know, so Pedriesta right there, but I like to call him Pedrino. You know, you guys say it with the little Spanish accent. You know, I am you know, Guala and shit. But yeah, I liked Pogba. Pogba was my favorite player. You know, when I was in 7th grade, I thought about getting a Pogba haircut, like a Pogba-esque Neymar. Like, you know, they had like them interesting ass cuts 2014, 2015, 2016. You know, I was thinking about going that route. I almost permed my hair. I watched a YouTube video on everything on how to do it. Luckily, I didn't. I used to have the Neymar, motherfucker. I think they were called Hypervenom cleats. Yeah, you know, those were swaggy. You know, we were ass though. We really didn't win any games. But, you know, I went for the summer team after I got kicked off. And, you know, we played a little scrimmage and I scored mad goals, even though I was never like a striker. I was always like a defender, you know, midfielder type, just because, you know, I was tall and, you know, strong, you know. But yeah, those are really the players that I really, you know, fuck with. And those are the teams that, you know, I support. I really just support Barca and everything. And then I just support my other favorite players internationally. You know, I like Spain. I rooted for Spain in the Olympics and in the Euro. So, yeah. And then when it comes to South America, or just America in general, because, you know, we do play in the Copa, but we're shit. USA is terrible. I like Pulisic, though. He's a cool guy. But the rest of the team could give a fuck. I will root for Brazil because Neymar. It hurt to watch. I ain't gonna lie. I'm low-key rooting for Rafinha for Ballon d'Or shouts. Maybe Pedri over Rafinha just because, like, he's really him. And, like, niggas is not understanding what he's doing every game. But Rafinha... Excuse me, I'm recording this at 5 a.m. Rafinha has scored a lot of goals. You know what I mean? He has come up clutch in so many matches, like the match against Benfica, the match against Celta Vigo that we just won by 1 goal the other day. You know what I mean? And he scored, you know, even against Madrid and against Bayern and against so many crazy teams, you know, and when we really needed him. So, you know, I love Rafinha. So those, you know, I was rooting for them, you know, and when he was playing with Brazil against Argentina, you know, I was rooting for Brazil because, you know, I just love Brazil. And it was hard to watch them get massacred, you know, I ain't gonna lie. It looked like they was trying to erase them black niggas again. I ain't gonna lie. It was a hard watch. I'm gonna keep it a bean. It was a hard watch game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is like just the first little intro video, just telling y'all, you know, how I feel about football, my takes, my thoughts, my opinions, so y'all can kind of get a gist of what this channel is going to consist of, what I'm going to be, you know, kind of covering and what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to be covering Barcelona. I'm going to be covering my favorite players. I'm going to be covering the Champions League. I'm going to be covering La Liga table. And I will be doing a match preview / prediction for the Copa del Rey final. As you can see right here, I have it all pulled up, ready to go. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of the drama ahead of the match from, you feel me, the Madrid side, you know, Vardrid, what can I say? Satanic club, bro. You know, sometimes, you know, I used to root for them. I ain't gonna lie. I rooted for them last year when Bellingham joined the team because I wanted to see them win the Champions League. But it's like now it's just like, bro, like I'm really realizing how satanic this club is. I'm seeing history. You know, I watched the Figo documentary on Netflix. Florentino Perez is going to hell. I'm sorry, he's going to hell. There's no other way to explain it, bro. That man is a sick bastard. You know what I mean? So this is a satanic club, bro. Feel me? They do all types of sacrifices, all types of shit, bro. I get on my spiritual soul shit when I start talking about Real Madrid, real shit. So I'm gonna just stop talking about them. You know, I'm about to get mad. But I'm gonna save that for the next video. You know, we're gonna get into that. And then, yeah, after I'm also gonna drop a reaction. And I'm gonna link my Twitch and my main channel in the description. I'm gonna start doing that because, you know, I'm gonna be reacting to the matches live on stream. I will be reacting to the Copa del Rey. I will be live early just to react to that, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's just this first video. Subscribe. It's gonna get crazy.